Fluent Flow podcast. New videos every day. Let's learn English together.
Welcome to the deep dive. It's interesting how we think about making things simple. Often we assume it's just about cutting things out, right? Stripping away complexity. But actually taking something complicated or even something really basic and making it crystal clear, especially for someone seeing it for the first time, maybe in a new language. It's not just simplification. It feels more like masterful design.
Exactly. It requires really understanding where the learner is coming from. You have to anticipate the roadblocks, and smooth things out with real clarity.
Yeah, it's not dumbing down at all. It's crafting an experience, making learning feel almost effortless. So today we're diving into what I think is just a fantastic example of this. Our source is this unique audio script. It's a whole episode actually from the Fluent Flow podcast, episode 11, and it's called Talking About Daily Routine. Now, talking about a daily routine, it sounds maybe a bit basic, almost trivial on the surface.
Right.
But our mission here is to really unpack how this script, which seems so straightforward, turns this universal idea into, an incredibly effective way to learn.
Yeah.
We're looking at the power of structured simplicity, targeted repetition, and really carefully chosen words, how it helps any learner, really, not just language learners.
It's a great model.
It really is. A blueprint for building understanding.
And what strikes you right away, I think, is that commitment to just absolute clarity from the very beginning.
Totally.
The script kicks off asking, what is a daily routine? Simple question. And the answer is just perfectly clear. It is what you do every day in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night.
No jargon, no hesitation.
Exactly. And that's not just a definition, is it? It's like a promise, a structural map for the listener.
Yeah, I see that. Morning, afternoon, night. Sets the whole frame.
Right. And that transparency, giving that structure up front, that's massive for a beginner. It cuts down the mental effort,
Reduces the cognitive load.
Yeah. You're not guessing what's next. You've got this predictable pattern, so your brain can just focus on the new stuff, the language itself.
That makes sense. Uncertainty can be really draining when you're learning something new.
Totally, especially in another language. So the script just says, look, here's the path. Morning, afternoon, night. Nice and clear.
Creates a sense of security.
Exactly. And then they explicitly promise step by step, slowly and clearly.
They actually say that.
Yep. It's right there. And that's not just filler. It's like an instruction built into the lesson.
Set the expectation.
It sets the precedent. The pace will be okay. The explanation's clear. No one gets left behind. That upfront commitment to a gentle pace, that's just gold for beginner instruction.
Nerd learner. It's okay. Take your time.
Precisely. You're safe to absorb this. No rush.
Okay, so that promise, that slow, clear, step-by-step thing, that's the base. Because then they dive right into the morning routine. And this is where they start laying down those vocabulary building blocks, right?
Exactly. And it's done so methodically.
It's not just a list of words. It feels like a sequence designed for immediate understanding. It starts with, I usually wake up at 7 a.m.
Specific time.
Right. Why 7 a.m., not just in the morning?
Well, it's concrete, isn't it? Everyone understands 7 a.m., grounds it instantly.
Connects it to your own experience. You can picture it.
Yeah. And from waking up, it moves physically, almost.
Sure.
I get out of bed.
Very visual, an action everyone does.
And then logically and go to the bathroom. Still very concrete, physical steps. One flows right into the next.
Minimal abstract thought needed there.
Right. Then the basic hygiene stuff. I wash my face and brush my teeth.
High frequency words again, things you do every day. Very relevant.
Instantly relevant, highly memorable, strong visual connection. And then I make a cup of coffee or tea.
Another common ritual. Specific objects, clear actions.
Very relatable for many people.
Then comes breakfast. There's a little touch here. Sometimes I eat toast or fruit for breakfast.
The sometimes.
Yeah. It's clever, isn't it? Introduces that nuance that routines aren't always rigid, even for beginners.
Without adding much complexity at all. And toast or fruit. Simple, common examples.
Easy to picture. And after breakfast, getting ready. After that, I get dressed. And it doesn't stop there. It breaks get dressed down further. I put on my shirt, pants, and shoes.
Getting specific.
Right. Not just the general idea of clothes, but linking specific words to specific items. Really practical vocabulary.
Shirt, pants, shoes, things you see and touch.
She wraps up the morning with, now I'm ready for the day.
Nice sense of completion.
Yeah. A simple positive phrase ties that whole morning sequence together.
And looking at that morning part, the vocabulary choice is it's one of its biggest strengths.
It really stands out.
It's not just simple, it's incredibly common. High frequency stuff. Words a beginner absolutely needs.
Like wake up, get out, go, wash, brush.
Make, eat, get dressed, put on, foundational verbs. And the nouns too. Bed, bathroom, face, teeth.
Coffee, tea, toast, fruit, shirt, pants, shoes. The basics of the basics.
Exactly. And the crucial thing is they're all concrete, easy to visualize, no abstract thinking needed.
Right. You can almost see it happening.
Imagine if they'd used, I don't know, commence my ablutions instead of wash my face.
Yeah, that would not work for a beginner.
Or ingest sustenance for eat breakfast.
Yeah.
It highlights the genius here. Stick to the most direct, common visual words.
Builds that mental dictionary reliably. Strong memory anchors.
Definitely. And thinking bigger picture about learning anything, really. That deliberate simplicity plus the natural chronological order.
That sequencing.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Our brains love stories. They love sequence. When it mirrors the natural flow of a morning,
It just clicks. Easier to follow, internalize, remember.
creates a coherent narrative, much stickier than just a random list. Each action leads to the next. Less mental effort needed to connect the dots.
Okay, so the words are simple, the order makes sense. But how do they make sure it actually sticks long term?
Well, that's where the repetition comes in. But it's very specific, guided repetition.
Not just remember this.
No, it explicitly says, let's repeat some words together. An immediate call to action.
Right. And then it lists them.
Yep. Specifically, wake up, brush my teeth, eat breakfast, get dressed.
So you're not just hearing, you're saying it. Producing the language.
Exactly. And for beginners, that's crucial. It solidifies pronunciation, you're physically making the sounds, and it kicks off memorization, moving from just recognizing the words to actively recalling them.
Like practicing scales on a piano. You don't just listen, you play.
Perfect analogy. And they don't just ask once, they prompt, say it with me one more time. Nice job.
Oh, nice. The encouragement.
That encouragement, the second try, and then the positive feedback. Nice job.
It's vital.
Takes the pressure off.
Totally. Low pressure, effort is praised.
Yeah.
That immediate feedback loop builds confidence, keeps the learner engaged, solidifies everything.
It's like active learning principles, but made really simple and direct. Exactly. Spaced repetition and active learning tailored perfectly for beginners.
That careful structure, that scaffolding,
Yeah.
it carries right into the afternoon section, doesn't it?
It does.
The challenge here is different, though. It's about building on that foundation, but gently, not overwhelming them.
Right. How do they manage that transition?
Well, the script moves smoothly. It starts with, in the afternoon, I usually work or study.
Okay, broader activities now, beyond just personal care.
Yeah, introduces these bigger concepts. And then it adds a bit of variety. Sometimes I go outside or take a short walk.
Again with this sometimes, showing flexibility.
Right. It suggests routines aren't set in stone, a useful little nuance.
Definitely.
Then lunchtime. Around 12 or 1 p.m., I eat lunch.
Notice the time marker, around 12 or 1 p.m.
Yeah, a bit more specific than just morning. A subtle nudge towards more precision.
Natural progression. And then examples of food. I like rice, vegetables, or a sandwich.
Again, common, concrete things, easy to relate to.
Familiar items for many learners.
And after lunch. After lunch, I go back to work. Or, and here are the alternatives. Or I read, write, or listen to music.
Okay, so leisure activities, cognitive stuff too.
Exactly. It expands the range of verbs and nouns again, but still uses really simple sentence structures.
So the number of situations the learner can describe is getting wider.
Significantly wider.
Yeah.
Introducing slightly more abstract things, but keeping the language simple and consistent. It's quite elegant, actually.
It really is. And if you think about effective learning, that gradual increase in complexity always linked to repetition. It serves the beginner so well.
How so, specifically?
Well, this part subtly brings in new categories of activity. We're talking work, study, leisure, being outdoors. It broadens their understanding of the world in English.
Expands their vocabulary and context.
Right, their semantic network grows, but without overload. They see how these simple words fit into more varied situations, like adding a new room onto the house they just started building.
Nice analogy. It expands but keeps the foundation solid.
Exactly. And those time markers, like around 12 or 1 p.m., that's another important scaffold.
That's that layer of practical use.
Yeah, teaching when things happen, not just what. Helps them talk about their own day with more detail. Moving from general time to more specific.
Building accuracy.
Precision, confidence.
And like the morning, there's repetition here too, right?
Yeah.
But maybe slightly different.
Yes. And it's an interesting evolution. The script says, repeat after me, and gives these phrases. I eat lunch, I go for a walk, I listen to music, I study English.
So not just single words or super short phrases like brush my teeth. These are more like mini sentences.
Exactly. It's a slight but really significant shift, guiding them towards putting words together into simple, complete sentences.
Internalizing basic sentence structure.
Moving from just recognizing parts to actually assembling them into meaningful chunks, a natural next step.
And the feedback.
Still there? A simple grr at the end, consistent positive reinforcement, acknowledges their effort.
That predictable feedback loop seems key. Keeps them motivated.
Absolutely vital. It's not just about the words, it's about feeling successful as you learn to combine them.
That progression feels so smooth. Like each part is building perfectly on the last.
Yeah, it's very well sequenced.
So how does it all wrap up? The evening routine? It feels like this part brings it all together, gives that sense of completion.
It does. It completes the daily narrative.
It's designed to reinforce what came before, but also add those final touches to the day.
Right.
It starts with something very human. At night, I like to relax. Sets a nice, comfortable tone.
Relatable.
Then it goes into personal care and family. I usually take a shower. Then I eat dinner with my family.
Oh, with my family. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, as a social dimension, doesn't it? Shows the language isn't just about solitary actions, interactions, relationships.
Broadens the context again, slightly.
Then typical evening things. After dinner, I sometimes watch TV or read a book. Common pastimes.
Widely understood, relatable activities.
And as bedtime approaches, around 9 or 10 p.m., I get ready for bed.
More specific time markers again.
Yeah, that subtle increase in precision continues right through. Then the final steps. I brush my teeth again and turn off the lights.
The brush my teeth again. We'll come back to that.
And finally, then I go to sleep. It just concludes the whole cycle.
A full narrative arc, waking up to falling asleep. Grounded, realistic.
A complete journey.
So that question you raised earlier,
Yeah.
how does covering the entire day make it so effective?
Yeah, what's the power in that completeness?
Well, it's because it grounds the language in a cycle we all know intimately. A full, practical, universal rhythm.
Makes the words more meaningful.
Way more meaningful and easier to recall. It's not a random list. It's a story of daily life.
Yeah.
A holistic view.
Creates a mental map of a day in English.
Precisely. A framework to slot new language into their own experience. Much more robust learning.
And you mentioned that detail. I brush my teeth again. Why is that so clever?
It's subtle, but pedagogically brilliant, I think. It does reinforce the phrase from the morning.
Right. Simple repetition.
But it's more than that. It adds real-life nuance. We do repeat actions during the day.
It's true.
So it implicitly teaches that routines aren't just a linear sequence of unique things. Activities get revisited. It shows the reality of habits naturally.
Without needing a separate lesson on repeated actions.
Exactly. It's just woven in. Masterful, really. Subtle instruction.
And the repetition for the evening?
Same pattern. Final set of phrases. Take a shower, eat dinner, watch TV, go to sleep. Summarizes the evening.
Solidifies those last key activities.
And it ends with, well done. Consistent, positive affirmation. Closes the loop on that section.
So you have nice job, great, and well done throughout.
That continuous, predictable encouragement is just baked into the script. Hugely important for a beginner who might feel unsure.
Creates that supportive environment.
Incredibly supportive. It says, your effort matters, keep going. It's building confidence as much as vocabulary.
Fostering a positive feeling about learning itself.
Which is maybe the most important thing of all.
That positive reinforcement, yeah, it's crucial. Which brings us to maybe the most interesting part. The script pivots, right?
Ah, the shift.
It goes from telling the learner about a routine to asking them, now it's your turn.
Yeah, that's a really significant moment.
How does that interactive piece work? How does it really engage them and lock in the learning?
Well, it changes the whole dynamic. It moves from passive to active.
So how does it do it? Just asks questions.
Yes, specific direct questions that pull directly from the material they just covered.
Like what?
What time do you wake up? Cord, what do you eat for breakfast? Do you work or study in the afternoon? And what do you do at night?
Hitting morning, afternoon, evening, directly prompting recall.
Exactly. Making them use the vocabulary and structures they just learned, moving from receiving to producing.
But the real magic here, maybe, is the pause.
The pause, yes. Absolutely critical, the unsung hero.
After each question, it actually says, pause 4 seconds.
Which is vital for a beginner. Think about it. Hear the question, understand it, find the words, form the answer, try to say it.
That takes time, especially in a new language.
Exactly. Without that pause, they'd feel rushed, probably frustrated, unable to respond.
So the pause gives them breathing room, processing time.
Essential processing and response time. It makes it low pressure. It's an invitation to practice speaking, not a test to catch them out.
Respects their pace. That's huge.
Huge. And that shift from just listening to actively recalling and producing, that's where the real learning deepens.
It's not just nice, it's necessary.
Absolutely essential for language acquisition, for any skill, really. True learning isn't just input, it's retrieval and application.
Applying it to their own routine.
Right, personalizing it, connecting the new language directly to their life. That makes it relevant, memorable, usable, builds stronger connections in the brain.
And does it encourage more practice?
It does. It explicitly says you can listen to this episode again and practice more.
Reinforces that learning takes time, repetition.
Empowers them. Learning is iterative. It's okay to go back. Incremental effort pays off.
So, zooming out again, why is speaking out loud so important? The script actually gives a reason, doesn't it?
It does. It says speaking out loud helps your English sound natural and confident.
And that applies beyond English, surely.
Totally. It's not enough to just know something in your head. For language, for many skills, you have to be able to do it, perform it.
Activates different parts of the brain.
Yeah. Language production areas.
Yeah.
Solidifies pronunciation, builds muscle memory for speaking, and crucially builds confidence.
That leap from understanding to feeling able to express it.
Speaking aloud bridges that gap. It's like proving to yourself, okay, I can actually do this, turns knowledge into skill.
And the final affirmation.
Nice work. Right at the end of that interactive part. Perfect closing, simple, genuine.
Ties back to the earlier encouragement.
Exactly. That consistent thread. Nice job. Great. Well done. Nice work. Creates this incredibly supportive arc. Builds confidence step by step.
It's teaching the language, but also teaching the learner that they can learn.
Beautifully put. Motivating them for the long haul.
Okay, so let's try and pull the main threads together from this deep dive. What have we really seen here?
We've seen a masterclass, really. How simple, clear, structured communication
Coupled with that strategic repetition
and active engagement
can powerfully teach something, even something seemingly basic like a daily routine.
And it's a model that works for any beginner, learning anything, building confidence, building foundational understanding.
A clear blueprint for breaking down complexity.
Definitely.
We saw the morning routine laying that concrete vocabulary foundation, using that logical flow.
Building those memory anchors.
Then the afternoon, subtly expanding the scope, adding categories, slightly more complex phrases, but still reinforcing.
Gentle increase in complexity.
The evening, providing that sense of completion, that holistic view, with clever reinforcement like brush teeth again.
Showing nuance within repetition.
And finally, that brilliant your turn section, shifting to active recall, direct application,
Bolstered by those crucial pauses.
and positive feedback all the way through. A complete, meticulously designed loop.
Absolutely.
And you were saying this goes way beyond just learning English.
Oh, absolutely. This structured approach, it's a blueprint for tackling any new topic or skill you want to learn.
So how could you apply it?
Well, think about learning, say, a complex historical event. Maybe your morning routine is just getting the key dates and figures down. Simple facts.
Okay.
Your afternoon could be understanding the main causes and immediate consequences, applying those facts in a simple narrative.
Right.
And the evening might be integrating it into the broader historical context, understanding the long-term impact. See? Breaking it down.
Into manageable daily learning routines.
Exactly. And that focus on practicing a little bit every day and speaking out loud, or more broadly, actively engaging with it, explaining it, discussing it.
Teaching it to someone else.
Yes. That applies everywhere. It moves you from just knowing about something to truly understanding and applying it, feeling confident.
Whether it's coding, music, business concepts.
Anything. Daily, incremental practice. Articulating what you've learned forces you to organize your thoughts, find the gaps, solidifies it.
And the goal, like the script says, isn't just knowing more.
It's to feel confident. And that deep confidence comes from that consistent, structured work, knowing you're building your skills step by step.
So, as you, the listener, go about your day, maybe thinking about your own routine, here's something to ponder. How could you apply this fluent flow idea? Breaking things down into simple, repeatable building blocks and actively practicing them to understand or explain complex things in your own life.
Yeah, maybe. What daily routines of learning could you adopt? What small, consistent steps could build your confidence and mastery in whatever you're pursuing right now?
What small steps could lead to your next big aha moment?
Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.